So when you're a professor and you become, a professor, it requires it's very much a sort of intellectual exercise where you um, try to gather this knowledge and sort of discover the world. Um, really spend a lot of time learning and thinking. But what I've learned, the huge part of it is very much just you taking care of yourself and you thinking about how to managing who you are, and you can't rely on other people to do that. It's very much as you are really managing your own. Um, you're really managing your own car, I guess, or your engine. You have to take a lot of responsibility over it. Whereas, you might want other people to come to the rescue or help you in some sort of way. But you can't rely on other people because they're full of crap. Many of you have probably seen that in the last couple of years with, the COVID pandemic, for example. The amount of cheap talk that there was at the beginning of people, you know, caring about other people and all that kind of stuff was ridiculous. And you quickly realize that, man, there's not a lot of quality people in this world. It is, there's just not. It's few and far between. And um, it's really challenging to sort of think about that. So you can't rely on other people to be there for you or anything like that. You just simply have to care for yourself, be there for yourself, and whatever it takes, no matter how goofy it feels, what it looks like. um, if people are putting you down for doing that, hey, this is you have to sort of walk your walk and do your thing. I've really come to terms with that if you want to, um, if you want to do well, it is not a, it is far from an intellectual exercise. Um, there's not, that's not much that's going on with that. It's very much a um, emotional sort of self-care thing where you're really very much managing yourself and you're creating these boundaries between you and the world, to really protect yourself from the outside world. There's this idea and strategy that firms have to buffer their resources, right? So to have slack resources, so that when the world is not great, there's uncertainty or it's not doing that well, that you have resources available to manage. And I think that's very much true with humans, that we have to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves first and not relying on other people, because the amount of cheap talk that there actually is about people actually caring, and it is pretty pathetic, to be honest. So you have to be the person that just keeps going and managing your own thoughts and beliefs and managing your own ship. um, it is not an intellectual exercise. Nothing about life is an intellectual exercise, like I think most people want to believe, but it's very much a um, managing your emotions and managing who you are inside, from the outside world. And the more that you can do that, not in the sense of like suppressing it in any sort of way, but harnessing it in a positive way, um, the more that you can do and stand and really push through things. It has been an interesting journey to experience the last few years. So it's 2022. For those of you, we had a global pandemic, and um, the culture has very much changed over the years on how to manage this. Initially, it was for the first month, it was very positive and we're all supporting and everybody's banding together. But then it became just a cultural nightmare where everybody was kind of going after everybody else, and nobody was. It was very much divided, and nobody was together and sort of moving forward with it, and so it just fell apart. The response to the pandemic was just abysmal in many ways. So like it was an absolute um, an absolute failure of policy, uh, like laying out of policy and implementation, sorry, policy implementation. Um, and so it was like difficult to be part of it and all that kind of stuff, to sort of watch any of this kind of happen. Um, and now, I've realized even more, man, you just have to protect yourself because nobody's out there to protect you. And so you have to manage. And we did. That's how we managed it. Is we really stood up and did things that we knew were right, and tried to protect other people, and that's all we did. And the rest of the world, well, that's them. And so you have to sort of manage that. Like, you cannot look after other people. You have to look after yourself and maybe the immediate people around you, because the rest of the world does not care. And I know it's a hard reality, but it's definitely something that you learn as you get older. You experience more things. It's been my experience over and over and over again since I left my parents' house, which I think that's when I became an adult. And it's always that way, where nobody's looking out for you, and you have to protect it and protect yourself and manage it as much as you can. So just remember that as you grow and develop. And it is, there's not a lot of nice people out in the world. And when you do find them, you got to cherish them. Um, and then as well, make sure that you're watching after yourself throughout the process of you growing up. All right. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.